already know who it is. It's your girl, Sugar Now, blessing you once again with the What Need Some Sugar podcast.
Episode 28. And all I really could say this week is what the hell? What the helly? Because this week's topics all scream to me, what the hell? I actually should have titled this episode, What the Hell? But instead, I titled it To Infinity and Beyond. So in this week's episode, you're going to get a pregnancy update, of course. We're going to talk a little bit about politics. We're going to talk about the Blue Origin space mission that those ladies just went on. I'm getting some backlash on a video that I posted about that, stating my initial opinion, but we're going to get way more in depth with that. I'm going to come with facts and then my actual full thought out opinion on that. In our Wow That Really Happened segment, I'm going to give you an update on Karmelo Anthony. And also, did y'all hear about that judge that shot her boyfriend in the head? If not, stay tuned for that. Lastly, in Drama and Bullshit, quick little Love and Hip Hop recap for anybody that cares. And also, Durelly from Bad Boys Club has some things to say on Twitter about an opportunity that he was offered. I was supposed to give you guys a pregnancy update last week, but I forgot. So here it goes. This week, I am officially 20 weeks pregnant, so that is 5 months. I had my anatomy scan on Tuesday, even though I already knew the gender of the baby. Even though we already got the gender of the baby a month ago through the blood test, I wanted to wait for the anatomy scan to announce to my family and also the internet what I was having. So, if you haven't seen my video yet of me announcing the gender of the baby is a girl. I cannot believe that I'm about to have 2 girls, 2 mini-me's running around this house. And they always say the second one is really the one that gives you a run for your money. So to be raising 2 little girls with my same attitude, my same mannerisms, I just need a prayer and a shot, y'all. A prayer and a shot, okay? Regardless, I'm very excited. I did want a boy because I already have a girl, of course. So one day I still would like to experience being a boy mom. However, I do have a stepson and I have nephews. So I do have that little boy love around me. And I'm appreciative of that in this moment. Depending on how everything goes after this pregnancy, I might try again in like 2 or 3 years because my daughter is 10 and then I'm having another baby now and I don't want that big of an age gap between my second and my third child if I do decide to have a third child. Like I said, that's all depending on how this rodeo go because her and Nyana might be so much that I'm like, fuck that, I ain't having no more kids. And then also I have including my stepson, that's already 3 kids. So having another baby will be a 4th. That's why I said, let me see how things go right now. Nyana's the only child. My stepson's the only child. So now we're about to bring their little sister into the mix. And I know they both going to be like, well, who the hell is this? Taking my mom and my dad's attention away from me. I honestly think that they're going to be a great big brother and big sister to the baby. It's just being only children. And now I have to share this parent. Hold on. Give me some time to adjust. I did start my registry on Amazon now that, I officially announced that I'm having a girl. And I will be sharing that link soon. Just if you wanted to buy some things for y'all niece. No pressure, no requirement. I might fuck around and post it to all of them just so I can get what I can get. Listen, if I'm really begging for anything, I'm begging for diapers and wipies. That's it. My parents out there already know. So if I can already be stocked up with diapers and wipies before the baby get here, I will be very happy and that'll make my pockets just a little bit happier. All right, this week politics is not going to get too deep. I hope you guys are on the internet because China just exposed a lot of luxury brands. They exposed the factories/companies that are partnered with these luxury brands to make these products. They exposed that the product costs $5 to make, but yet they're selling it to you for $500. Some companies that were mentioned were Nike, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, Gucci, Lululemon. Although some of these aren't actually luxury brands, these are still brands that sell items with price tags that are out of this world. And I think it was a big FU for China to be like, look, we're telling your people how much it costs to make the things that you make them spend thousands on. And I'm not going to lie, it was a power play and it also was a smart move on China. China said, okay, you want to play ball? Let's play ball. Honestly speaking, as a small business owner, I've sourced some of my products from China because it's much cheaper to get it from China versus getting it made in the United States. And the quality is actually better coming from China. Whether you believe that or not is up to you. So as a business owner, it's a better financial move to source your products from a cheaper factory that makes it with better quality versus a factory just to say it's made in the US. Honestly, you guys, China just proved that a lot of these companies source their products from the cheapest factories that they can find with good quality. It's also a gamble with these type of things because not every single manufacturer in China has good quality things. It's just about finding that good manufacturer with good quality control that'll make your product for the best price with the best materials. China just simply exposed that these luxury brands are charging you $10,000, $15,000 for a bag, and they're telling us where exactly they get the materials. They even showed the craftsmen that are making the bags. And then they also told us that after the bags are made, they're just shipped somewhere else to get the logo put on, and that's where you'll see made in Italy, made in US, made in Canada. But in all actuality, the bag itself was made in China. So for my DH Gate girlies, you're kind of getting vindicated right now for people saying, oh, you buy knockoffs. I want authenticity. All authenticity is the brand name and the marked up price. The materials are the same. The factory is the same. The worker is the same. I don't know how true this is, but I've seen a couple TikTok videos saying that there's a couple shops in China that are underground that sell you these knockoff bags that were taken allegedly from the factories that make the actual bags. So technically it is a knockoff because it doesn't have the logo on it. They didn't ship it off to Italy, France, or Canada to get the actual logo put on. Next, we have a bit of sad political news. A man by the name of Abrego Garcia, I hope I'm saying his name right, I'm so sorry if I'm not, was a Maryland man that was mistakenly deported by ICE to El Salvador. Shortly after his deportation, the Justice Department actually did admit it was an administrative error on their end, resulting in him being mistakenly deported. Once this information came out, everybody said, okay, well, bring him back. Now that you know he was here legally, what's going on? Trump and his administration were fighting it, and then the Supreme Court ruled on his return to the U.S. However, Trump and El Salvador's president says they will not be returning him. And my thing is, what is the point of checks and balances if the Supreme Court can make a ruling and the president and his branch of the government specifically can say, nah, we don't want to do that. People are speculating allegedly that this man might not be with us anymore. And I'm leaning to that theory as well myself, because why would you not want to return someone who was mistakenly deported? Your thing is these illegal aliens, these people undocumented, all of this stuff, right? I feel like to help the cause a little bit, even though I don't agree with all the deportations, it would help your cause a little bit and make it look a little bit humane if you realize, okay, we made a mistake. So yes, we're going to bring this man back because your biggest argument is for people to come into this country the right way. Your biggest argument is for people to come into this country legally and do the right paperwork and take the right steps and wait their turn to come into this country. This man was not an illegal immigrant and he was deported, unfortunately, and now you're refusing to bring him back. And then you make a comment saying homegrowns are next. What does that mean? You tell me. Now, I don't know what you guys got from that, but what I got from that personally is whoever we decide to deport is getting deported. If you do something we don't like, if you say something we don't like, we might ship your ass to El Salvador too. And I don't know about y'all, but that's a very scary thought for the government to just be able to ship you wherever the fuck they want to just because you said something that might have hurt their feelings. This administration is actively attacking all of our rights, one by one. Freedom of speech, freedom of press, and all types of freedoms that America markets themselves as being the greatest country in the world with. You're trying to take it away from the legal citizens that are here, but yet the biggest argument on their campaign trail was getting illegal immigrants out of here. Now you talking about we don't care if you legal or illegal, you're getting out of here if we say you're getting out of here. If you say something we don't like, you're getting out of here. If you go against what we believe, you're getting out of here. If you don't abide by the bullshit rules we put in place, you're getting out of here. People are getting fired left and right that uphold very important positions in the government. And it's just a shit show with this administration. And honestly, I don't blame anyone but the voters. And just like last week, I just want to ask the voters, how are y'all feeling about your decision? The price of eggs have reached record highs. I just went to ShopRite this morning and there was a sign on the door that said due to bird flu or some bullshit like that, egg prices have risen. And I looked at that and said, bird flu is not the reason why these eggs are so expensive. It's because it's getting expensive to produce these things in this country. A lot of people's argument was, oh, I'm voting for Trump because he's going to decrease the price in groceries. They have now tripled. How do you feel? And the sad part about it, some of these farmers actually voted for him. Some of the people that are on the internet complaining and crying and wanting sympathy are the very voters that put this man in office. I feel bad, but I don't in these situations because your dumb decision has now affected me and my vote was literally to protect your rights and you voted to take mine away. And now you're seeing this man meant everything he was saying on his campaign trail plus some, and you want to cry and bitch about it. No, now you stand on your vote and you call your elected officials in your state or your town or your city, hoping that they're not in this man's pocket But the Supreme Court just made a ruling that Trump said, we're not following it. I'm worried that if the House or Senate vote on things, will the president abide by it now? Or can he just say, nah, I don't feel like signing that, so it's not going into law. Have a good day, everybody. Now we're on the Wow That Really Happened segment. A judge shot her boyfriend in the head for telling her to get the step in. He basically was kicking her out of his house, and he said he went to sleep. He then said he woke up to excruciating pain and then noticed that he could not see, aka he was blind. He was rushed to the hospital, and it was discovered that he was shot in the head. The bullet came millimeters from ending his life, and the judge that was convicted of doing it previously shot her ex-husband in the groin for not moving furniture when she told him to. She now faces 60 years in prison, and if she did these things that they said she did, she took "you got me fucked up" to a different level. It's not even self-defense. This lady said, if I can't have you, nobody can. Next story up, we have an update on Karmelo Anthony. If you remember from last week, Karmelo Anthony is a teenager who was charged with the stabbing death of another student at a track meet. His bond was set at $1 million. The judge reduced his bond to $250,000, and because of the GoFundMe his family put up, he was able to get out on bond. So now Karmelo Anthony is free to fight his case on the outside. The judge that did lower his bond is facing like a lot of racial criticism because she was a black woman and Karmelo Anthony is a black boy. So, people going to have something to say about that. But if we being honest, if she did help out one of her own, it's been so many times where white people have helped out their own that I'm not mad that we got a chance to do it on our end. Karmelo will have his day in court, and then we'll get the evidence and we'll know what really happened, hopefully. When is that exactly? We do not know. However, I can't wait for the trial, honestly, because I want to know the facts and the evidence that the prosecution has against him. And I also hope he has great legal counsel that can defend him in this matter. And if he really is guilty, then he deserves to go to jail. But if he's not guilty, he deserves to have a fair day in court where he can present his case. And we'll see what happens with that. All right. I want to talk about this Blue Origin mission. Have you heard about it? Blue Origin is a company owned by Jeff Bezos, who is the CEO of Amazon. They are researching space exploration. Basically, what I'm getting out of it is they're trying to sell trips to space for people to basically see space, because all we see of space is when we look up at nighttime if we buy a telescope or what pictures NASA releases to us. So this company, Blue Origin, is, in the race to send people to space and be the first to do space exploration with the general public and things of that nature. Blue Origin sent up NS-31 mission, an all-female crew including Asia Bao, Amanda Newman, Carrie Ann Flynn, Gayle King, Katy Perry, and Lauren Sanchez. This flight was the first all-female crew to launch into space. The definition of space depends on who you ask, because they actually didn't go into orbit space. They went up to the edge of the atmosphere of the Earth where they reached zero gravity, and then they came back down. The trip in total lasted 11 minutes. We watched it take off. We watched them be up there, say woo. Katy Perry was holding a daisy. Gayle King had the other ladies was just happy to be there. And then they came back down. Now, I made a video saying what was the point of this trip. And I asked that because they made it seem like this was a historical moment. And my thing is, they're trying to frame it as, this is going to inspire little girls to want to be astronauts, as if there's not already plenty of females who are into STEM. Although, like a lot of other fields, it's male dominated. These women are not the first women to go to space. They marketed this, and I'm going to say marketed, because this is just an advertisement for space exploration for people that can afford it, if we're being honest. There's 2 women on board that I actually want to give props to, and I don't want to be disrespectful towards them because they've put in the time and the work, and who I believe personally deserve to be up in space. Aisha Bao, who is a former NASA rocket scientist and the CEO of STEM Board, and Amanda Newman, who is a scientist, a civil rights activist, and the founder of RISE. My opinion has really nothing to do with those 2 women because, like I said, out of everybody on board, they were the ones who deserved to be there, and I actually feel like the trip benefited from them being on board. However, Carrie Ann Flynn, who's a film producer, Gayle King, who is a co-host of CBS Mornings, Katy Perry, who's a pop star, and Lauren Sanchez, who's an author, journalist, former pilot, but most importantly, is engaged to Jeff Bezos. I feel like the company of the other women overshadowed the importance of Aisha and Amanda being on board. Making it a point that it was an all-female crew is laughable to me, even as a woman, because they will not disclose who on that rocket paid to go up there. And it is rumored that the tickets were between $250,000 and $400,000. If you're trying to inspire little girls to get into STEM and want to be astronauts, why are you not telling people the cost and the reality of this situation? You're not going to send these little girls that you're supposedly trying to inspire up there for free. You are going to make them pay for it, just like you made some of the other members on board pay for it. Katy Perry, I know she didn't get a ticket for free. Gayle King, I know she didn't get a ticket for free. And also, let's mention that Gayle King is Oprah Winfrey's best friend. Oprah is another billionaire. Now, I don't have anything negative to say about Oprah. I know there's some people out there that got something negative to say about all billionaires because they think they all ain't shit. I feel like Oprah has done enough for her community where we can give her just a little tiny pass, but for some, they ain't giving her a pass at all. I don't really have anything negative to say about Oprah besides the fact that she probably paid for Gayle to go up there. Lauren Sanchez probably is another one that got a free ride, quote unquote, because she's engaged to Jeff Bezos, who, like I said, is the CEO of this company. Now that's how you use what you got to get what you want. I'm not even mad at Lauren for real. You have some people that are saying, oh, poor people are just mad that rich people are able to afford doing these things. If that is your argument, do you feel good on your side of the fence saying that? Like, just think about what you said. Poor people are mad that rich people can go to space. Yet these rich people frame this trip as, oh, we want to inspire little girls to go to space. Yet most of the little girls that they intend to inspire will most likely never be able to afford to do these things that they're advertising as inspirational. They are not being honest about the price tag of this trip. And they're not doing that because they know that the average person, the people that they're trying to quote unquote inspire, will never be able to afford these type of things. It's rich people playing with their rich toys. And a lot of comments that I was getting on my video were, oh, you're just mad that you don't have the money to do it because if you did, you would go. Oprah Winfrey, who was a billionaire, was on the ground. Kris and Khloe Kardashian, who are millionaires, were on the ground. There were plenty of millionaires on the ground watching this rocket launch who have no interest in going to space. Two things could be true at the same time. Why is it hard for people to believe that somebody who has the money to go can still make the decision to not go? Even if I had the money to pay $400,000 to do something, that doesn't mean that I will. Are y'all okay? So you're telling me if you had $400,000 and you didn't want to go to space, you still would go just because you had the money? Those are the type of people that don't need to have money because now you're just wasting your money on nothing. I don't give a fuck if I had $1 million or not. I don't desire to go to space, so I'm not going. Like I said, Oprah was on the ground clutching her fucking pearls. Oprah can afford to go on that trip probably 100 times a year. She still didn't go. That's because going to space probably is not on Oprah's bingo card. They interviewed Kris Kardashian after that. She volunteering Khloe to be the first one in the family to go. That told me everything I need to know. Don't volunteer me to do no shit that I don't want to do. I've gotten a lot of mixed responses on my video, which I don't care. I'm not taking it personally. I still don't understand the point. I agree with a lot of people when they say it's very tone deaf considering everything that's going on in the country, in the world. You're sitting here advertising space travel as if it's the next big thing, and people down here can't even afford eggs. We just talked about how groceries are tripling and people are struggling. I just seen a post where someone said that people are fucking rationing their insulin because they can't afford it. And you want these same people to be excited and inspired that rich people are taking their toys up to space and the news is covering this shit? We wouldn't have known about this had they not made it a news spectacle. However, we do know about it, and our response to it is not what they thought it was going to be. We're not feeling this shit. We think it's tone deaf. We don't think it was the right time. And then they're trying to attach feminism and science and all types of stuff onto an 11-minute joyride up to space, especially putting someone like Katy Perry on there. And then I got the argument that, oh, in order to get people's attention, you got to have influencers and things like that. Haven't we been learning that including influencers in certain spaces is not beneficial to the cause at the end of the day? Such as that one interview where they were talking to Babyface and the influencer called out Chappell Roan in the background, and the interviewer completely was disrespectful towards Babyface, who is a very, very, very big artist in the music industry, just to get the attention of a new artist named Chappell Roan. Chappell Roan. I don't know if I'm saying that right or wrong, but she's a brand new girl. You're sitting there being disrespectful to Babyface because you don't understand the art of interviewing and the respect that you're supposed to have for the interviewee, just to call out your favorite artist because you're an influencer and this is not something you studied or went to school for. So adding influencers in some of these spaces just for the sake of, oh, it'll get people going, it'll get people's eyes on it, is very disrespectful to the people that actually decide to go to school and study these things. Like I said, the backlash from Gayle King going up there and Katy Perry and Lauren Sanchez and Carrie Flynn is overshadowing the fact that Aisha and Amanda are real life scientists that worked hard for their accolades and actually deserve to be up there. However, I do also want to say that some people want their goals and their dreams so bad that they'll sacrifice some of their morals and values for it. So who's to say that Amanda and Aisha didn't want to go up to space so bad that they was like, fuck it, I'll go up there with Katy Perry and Gayle King. I wonder what made Aisha and Amanda actually want to go on this mission versus a mission where they'll be up there longer and they can do research and things of that nature. I have to look up some of their interviews. Maybe they've been to space before, or maybe they've said their reasoning behind going on this specific trip. And I hope it just wasn't because it was an all-female crew. Because in my opinion, I feel like it's kind of a slap in the face to yourself for you to say, okay, well, as a scientist, fuck it, this is my chance. So if I got to go up here with these people, then that's who I'm going to go with. Instead of saying, you know what? I don't really want my name attached to some spectacle. I'm going to wait until we're actually going up there to do the real work and not just have a photo op up in space. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Tell me how you felt about it. Lastly, in the drama and bullshit sector, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Here's a quick rundown. I'm literally going to be reading from my notes because this is what I wrote down when I watched the episode. Yandy is still delusional. Rashida is still a liar. Roy wants to fuck Bambi so bad he's willing to get married right now. Scrappy was drunk while his baby was being delivered. Mama D is still ruining her son's relationships. And Ashley let Zane back in the house. That's pretty much the recap of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta this week. Oh, and Carly didn't accept Ashley and Zane's apology. She said, we're in beautiful Cabo. Let's handle it when we get back to Atlanta. And at the end of the episode, Jock said that he's no longer on the cast album after Bambi mentioned being taken off the cast album. And then Jock said, I wouldn't mind showing Spice what it means to make a real Atlanta album because this album now is not Atlanta. It's a whole bunch of bullshit. You got Amy and Bambi dissing each other. You got Rashida on there forgetting her fucking words. He ain't say that. You got Sierra being mad that she not on there. Like Jock said, no, I'll produce a real Love and Hip Hop Atlanta album with Atlanta producers and Atlanta artists. And I'm not mad at him for that. Because for Spice to be a transplant and actually a dance hall artist and not a hip hop artist, but trying to create a love and hip hop album, it just seems like a cash grab to me and just a moment for her, not something meaningful. And I'm glad that Jock said no. If it's going to have Atlanta's name behind it, it's going to be Atlanta. I don't know about y'all, but I actually have a lot of faith in Jock's album versus Spice's album. I have no desire to listen to anything. I have no desire to listen to any Love and Hip Hop cast album produced by Spice, unless it's a dance hall album. But if it's just a hip hop album, I don't got time because she just dissed Bambi and say you got 11 fake purse and 11 fake furs, 11 fake D and 11 fake dirt. Spice. The character on Love and Hip Hop Spice, I can't get jiggy with that bitch because it's just too much. It's just too much shit she say that don't make sense. And I'm not talking about her accent. I'm saying her actual viewpoint. It never makes sense to me. Her actions always have me questioning and side-eyeing her. So if they decide not to bring Spice back for next season, I actually would be happy. Spice, stick to the music because this Love and Hip Hop shit is actually starting to become a bad look for you. Everybody is starting to feel the same way about you. Everybody is starting to feel like you're being messy. And the audience is starting to see that you are messy and you are a little bit fake. So Spice, if you know what's good for you, I think you should make this your last season of Love and Hip Hop and just continue to make great music for the dance hall. I got so much faith in you when it comes to that. Good luck, Spice. Last story, do you know who Durelly is? He was on Bad Boys on Zeus. Originally, Durelly was the guy who was selling Hondas, talking about where the money reside, right? So that's his claim to fame or notoriety. Then he was picked up by Zeus to be on Bad Boys, and on Bad Boys, he was just drunk and fighting everybody. Also being the ringleader, people are fighting and he's sitting there like, you better hit him back. You better not back down. You better hit harder. Hit him with a drink in his hand, right? So Durelly made a tweet saying that he got a part on Netflix. Matter of fact, let me read you the tweet word for word. So his tweet said, my chest is burning so bad. I auditioned for one of my favorite Netflix shows. I got accepted. And then shortly after I got denied. The reason was due to the television shows you've participated in the past. Deems you to be a liability for the show and the network. He said, yeah, excuse me while I scream. Now, he has every right to feel how he feel, but also I hope he's honest with himself in this moment I hope he realized, damn, being on Zeus really was not a good look for me. And acting the way I was acting on that network in turn is affecting any future projects I'm trying to do, which should be a lesson for all the ladies on Baddies and any other person considering going on Zeus and acting a fool and fighting. Now, y'all already know I used to review Baddies and I love Zeus. I love Now That's TV. Like, I like me a little ratchet show here or there. But also, you have to think about your future. What do you want to do once you leave Zeus? If you don't want to be known for anything else but fighting, cool, stay on Zeus. You're exactly where you need to be. But people like Durelly that want to audition for Netflix series, these companies have seen you on Zeus fighting and causing bodily harm to another person. And they're like, oh no, you might act like that on our set. And that's not what we do. So no, thank you. You're a liability. Just like on the Auntie podcast, when they interviewed Natalie, Scotty, and Rolly said she wants to do movies and other TV shows. I hope Rolly looked at this situation with Durelly and realized, like, damn, me acting the way I'm acting on Zeus, I'm pretty much stuck. And any movie I want to do, I'm probably not going to get any further than Tubi. Overall, let that be a lesson to anyone aspiring to be on Zeus. But if you actually plan on moving on from Zeus, you may not be able to, which is a cycle you might be stuck in. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the girls can't go elsewhere and do anything else because they're stuck due to the fact that they're on this network fighting. It's all over TikTok and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. And these production companies and studios that you want to work with are like, oh no, you just going to be slapping bitches if they say something you don't like? Nah, we're good. Next. It's unfortunate all around for the girls who want to do other things with their life, but it's also a decision you're making. And it's a hard lesson that Durelly had to learn, but hopefully he gets a good publicist and manager who helps him, reclaim his image and maybe come out in a more positive light and do more positive things. But Durelly also got to be extra honest with himself because after Zeus, you then went to Now That's TV and hosted their reunions and you was on there wanting to fight them too. So I could take an educated guess and say Durelly is not really a changed man. And that is a wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. I do want to give a shout out to Ryan Coogler and his movie Sinners that is being released in theaters today, April 18th. The overview of the movie is trying to leave their troubled lives behind. Twin brothers, played by Michael B. Jordan, return to their hometown to start again, only to discover that an even greater evil is waiting to welcome them back. Now, this is categorized as a horror film, and it is about vampires. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, I've been watching Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan interviews about it. There was a video on TikTok where Ryan Coogler was explaining the different film techniques and he really encouraged the audience. And he's really encouraging the audience to go see it in IMAX, which is how I'm going to watch it. Once I do watch it, I'm going to come back with my thoughts. I really want to support this film also because Ryan Coogler is a Black director who is producing an original horror film. It's not a remake of anything. It's no one else's script. He, with the help of probably other writers, of course, came up with this original movie, and I'm really excited to see it. So once again, go watch Sinners, April 18th in IMAX, directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan and a plethora of other stars. Lastly, make sure you're leaving fan mail. Let us know what you think about the podcast. You also can support the show for as low as $3 a month. Cancel anytime, no commitment. It just helps me keep the show going for you guys because this show is free to all my listeners. You could just support the show here or there. Like I mentioned last week, we are working on getting a new laptop because sometimes recording on this laptop I got now is a little slow, but we making it do what it do, okay? And with all that being said, what do I always say? It's good, but it needs some sugar.
Psychic, I like this.
You already know who it is. It's your girl, Sugar Now, blessing you once again with the What Need Some Sugar podcast.